connecting with the fans and everybody throughout the United States.
Tonight's going to be about winning. I mean, you're going to want those bragging rights.
As long as I'm sideways, I'm having a good time. It's a great racetrack. The place is really small, really fast.
Tonight is a way for all these Cup bush drivers, truck drivers, to give back and say, look at here, look at this little track. Come see the show.
Welcome to Macon, Illinois. It's a quiet little town. Population, 1,200. A quaint Midwestern town, but not tonight, because Macon is filled to capacity with race fans here to watch dirt track racing. It's the night of NASCAR stars at the Macon Speedway. Track has been in operation since 1946, recently purchased by a local promoter named Bob Sargent, and a few guys you may have heard from in the racing world, Kenny Wallace, Kenny Schrader, and two-time NASCAR Nextel Cup champion, Tony Stewart. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Burns alongside Clint Boyer, a guy who knows a thing or two about racing on dirt. Clint, you have experience as we take a look at the lineup at this racetrack.
Yeah, I do. You know, Kevin Harvick and I both had an opportunity to go here earlier in the year and had a lot of fun. Such a neat racetrack. It's so small. It's a hard place to get around, but a lot of fun to drive on.
Well, you see some of the big names, and before the race, we gave the microphone to the shy one, Kenny Wallace.
All right, here we are at Macon, big night. We got my good friend who kicked my butt in the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. And what year was that, Bobby?
1991.
You remember that, do you?
Yep, I remember seeing you in a hospital, or tried to get you to the hospital before you left it loud, remember?
Yes, I do remember it. What he's talking about is I got hurt in New Hampshire, and that pretty much sealed the deal. But, hey, we're just going back to old times, just like this racetrack. Bobby, you know, have you ever been at a track this small?
The quarter midget track that we built in Salisbury is about this size, I think. But, no,
Man, this is a crazy track. It's really small. It's my first time on dirt. I've been off the plane for about 5 minutes. You got me doing hot laps straight away. Having a great time. I've just got no idea what I'm doing.
What's that, National Guard?
These guys don't have a lot of place to land over here. This is a small track, Kenny.
Okay, now look, though, we don't mess around here at Macon. We said we got to have a big event, so we brought the biggest winner in lately, Coke 600. Now, we know you won the Coke 600. That was a huge win, but right now it's about this racetrack. Of all your Baja and everything you've done on the West Coast, you ever seen anything like this?
I never have seen anything quite like this. It's a lot of fun, man. These fans are just going crazy, and what you guys have done here is just awesome. You know, so many people, as I was pulling up to this track, you know, went in my window, and we're talking about things, and, man, they're so cool that Kenny and Tony and these guys got together and did this because, you know, these guys just love it out here, and you guys are doing a great job.
We're going live here. Look at this. Right here on Speed TV. They're landing as we speak. He's coming into front straightaway. Do not land in the grandstands. Look at. Wow. Steven, what did you think about the thrill that we're putting on here at Macon tonight?
I'll tell you what, man, this is unbelievable. I've never driven on dirt, never had this many fans on a small track like this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as a driver, man, I'm getting my butt kicked out there right now. You need to teach me how to drive on dirt.
But look here, we ain't messing around here at Macon because we brought my good friend Kyle Busch. And Kyle, I'm not going to ask you about that Cup stuff because you're getting enough media attention over that. Now, you and your brother out on the West Coast, now you've run some of these modifieds, haven't you?
Yeah, I've run some of the modifieds in IMCA rule and the old hockey puck McCreary tire. You know, I love that thing, but you know, it's fun to be able to do this dirt stuff. I enjoy it, and I always did back then. But I was a little too young when I started it. I got booted out. I was 15.
JJ, you ran here one time. What was it in?
I was here in the mids. I actually had fast time. I think I finished third. You know, it's funny. I can remember stuff like that, but I can't remember what I was supposed to do yesterday. I have to ask my wife because I'm probably in trouble for not doing it. But you know, there's more people here than I remember at the California truck race. So
they're here to see you, buddy.
Maybe we can make the change. We won't have any. We'll like cut California down to one race, and we'll come race Macon, Illinois, for Macon.
Stephen Wallace, my nephew, said, couldn't we afford a whole track? They said this was a half a track. What do you think?
There's that Kenny Wallace lap. Clint, all-star names here. Do you see a favorite?
My money's on Schrader.
He has knowledge of the racetrack. Well, grandstands are filled. We'll be back. We're going to go racing here in Macon, Illinois. Welcome back to the night of NASCAR Stars. A lot of the fans getting to see heroes from the NASCAR series. But, Clint, you know, this is an important track. You started your career on a dirt track much like this.
Absolutely. It all starts for somebody at a track just like this. Without tracks like this, you know, we're not going to have the next up-and-coming Nextel Cup driver, so they're very important.
Let's take a look at the history of short track racing.
I don't think anybody can go back and figure out who the Christopher Columbus of short track racing was or where it was. It was probably some horse track somewhere that a car got on.
During the 1920s and 30s, dirt racing began to organize in various forms. But the greatest development of what was to become grassroots racing didn't gain momentum until the 1940s, when the world found peace again.
It wasn't until after World War II that the short track boom started in NASCAR and non-NASCAR stock car racing in the South. And actually, there was more non-NASCAR short track racing than there was NASCAR.
As the sport began to grow, each geographical region in the United States boasted enthusiastic race fans with self-styled promoters with visions of creating the next dirt mecca. Nowhere was that more true than in the Southeast, which possessed the perfect racetrack recipe: an abundance of red clay, farmland, and Southerners with the affinity for speed.
I always said that the most dangerous thing in the world was, back in the early 40s, was a race fan in the South with heavy equipment, because he was going to go talk to his farmer buddy that had a nice, good clay, red clay field. Then he was going down to his buddy in the sawmill to furnish the lumber that you need to build the seats and the grandstand. All you needed then was a water truck, which you could get from the volunteer fire department, and you were in business. The business of doing that was prolific. I think probably in a 200-mile radius to Charlotte, and by the mid-50s there were probably 100 short tracks.
NASCAR's birth in 1948 gave the short track racers a consistent organization to rally around and a goal to set their sights on. That relationship between the short tracks and grassroots racing is the very foundation NASCAR was built upon. Now, the NASCAR stars of today are paying homage to the sport's humble beginning and are trying to give back to a passionate form of racing that has given them so much.
The influence of short track racing on NASCAR has been huge because it is where the talent comes from. Without the short tracks, you couldn't have the big tracks. It's where just about everybody started.
The local racing scene and the regional racing series are what allow drivers to cut their teeth and to make the mistakes or to continue to grow and to learn.
Yeah, it got me prepared for the next phase, which was the asphalt short track racing. You know, really had a big hand in shaping my code, the code that I drive by and the code that I race by.
That's really what it's all about. I mean, that's where your passion for the sport and being competitive and all that started.
I do believe it's just a passion that we all have, and we all want to, you know, see it, make sure it survives, and you know, be a part of it. If we can spark it up, that's great.
For me, it's having short track experience is priceless in this sport. It's big for NASCAR to help keep those local short tracks going.
It's festive, it's colorful, it's wild, it's beyond sport. It's something that if you've never seen one and you go to one, you just got to go back, because no telling what's going to happen. It's a rite of summer across the country.
And that's exactly right. Short track racing is where it's at. It's a family atmosphere. You see the kids playing down low, the parents up watching the races. You never know what you're going to see.
Well, Clint, coming up, we're going to see heat races. Stay with us here on Speed in Macon, Illinois. Welcome back to the Macon Speedway in Macon, Illinois. Steve Burns and Clint Boyer. It's time for heat number 1. Clint, our drivers include Casey Mears in the 25. There's Kenny Wallace in the 36. Ken Schrader is in the 9. Ray Evernham in the 19. J.J. Yaley in the 18, Bobby Labonte in the 1B, and Marcus Ambrose from Tasmania in the 37. And as we look at the starting order, talk about what it takes to be good at this racetrack. It requires an entirely different style than these guys are used to.
Oh, absolutely. The corners are very tight. They're tighter than probably any corner they've ever seen, even on a road course. So you really have to back the car in the corner hard, and it's really hard to get the car sideways enough to where it won't push up and get into the wall up off, but not too sideways where you'll spin out.
This is a 10-lap race. And essentially, this heat race will establish the starting position later on this evening.
Now, looking at the racetrack, it's very heavy. They got a lot of moisture on the track. They've been doing their homework and getting the water down, so should have a really good night of racing.
All right, getting set for the green flag, Clint.
Oh,
a little beating and banging right at the start.
The wall a little bit. Casey Mears jumped out to the lead and is going for it.
Kenny Wallace looks to the inside. Little contact between 37 and the 18. That was Marcus Ambrose and J.J. Yaley. More contact.
25 and Casey Mears spins in front of the field. That's so easy to do on a track like this. As the cars, as I was saying, they're so tight to be good, you know, forward bite-wise, that you really have to get them back around in the corner. As you saw, he just got it a little too sideways, a little too much rear brake, and away she went.
The caution out, we take a look at the replay. Casey Mears spins it, as Clint Boyer said, and they stack up behind him. Now, what would be a common mistake somebody like Casey Mears would make who doesn't have a lot of experience here, Clint?
Just like that, getting in the corner too hard. You want to you know, push the corner as far as you can, getting into the corner, and that's just hard to do. It's hard to balance that. You have to drive these cars with your foot. You're not necessarily with the steering wheel. You have to drive a lot of throttle, a lot of brake, and you know, driving with your feet.
Time for the restart. Kenny Wallace has gone from third to first. Kenny Schrader fourth to second. Green flag.
A little home track advantage looks like out there, the front two cars.
I was going to say, there's two of the owners of this track.
I think they've been practicing.
Uh-huh.
As you see, you know, they're still down on the bottom of the racetrack, which is kind of unique for this track. There, Schrader's moving up high. You'll see as the night moves on, there'll be a cushion up high, and they'll get to running high. It seems like it's a little slimy yet. You know, the track will continue to get better and better. Ray Evernham goes around, keeps it going though. Man, he might want to think about that. You might want to stop there and draw a caution, then he can catch back up.
Good battle up front. Battle of the Kenny. Schrader on the inside, Wallace on the outside.
I tell you, Schrader's car there, a lot of history behind that car. I think it's like a 1996 Dirtworks car they pulled out of the dust and the cobwebs, and you know, they've done a lot of work there getting that car ready. It's a pretty car.
Trouble for J.J. Yaley in the 18.
Looks like he's got some right front damage. Might have got some help getting into the wall there, but it's very easy. I don't know quite what happened yet, but very easy to get into the wall up off and damage your right front. So we'll have to see what he's got here.
Caution is out, Clint. This 10-lap heat race. Again, all drivers transfer. This is really for starting position. Kenny Schrader, the leader. Does that give you a little indication there, Clint? That wobbly right front?
That and a frame rail dragging the ground. It's probably a ball joint or a, you know, an A-arm or something like that. Probably wall related, I'd say.
Want to mention too, these cars are owned by gentlemen who race in this area.
And I think that speaks a lot about, you know, somebody to let these guys get in their cars and go out and have fun for a special night. So, you know, I know all these drivers owe a lot of thanks, a lot of gratitude to those.
Kenny Schrader and Kenny Wallace own their cars, but again, as Clint says, as we go back to green flag, these cars owned by local racers for this Night of Stars.
And it's hard to, you know, you're sitting here watching these two pull away from the field. I mean, Kenny Schrader's one of the best dirt track drivers in the country, and Kenny Wallace has been, you know, Schrader's been his mentor. Kenny's been going with him a lot here lately in racing, so a lot of experience with those two guys. But as I sit and watch this heat race and watch the laps go by, the guys are getting a lot smoother. They're getting a lot more comfortable with their race cars and finding, you know, where they need to be on the racetrack.
It's funny. funny, Clint, as we watch the closing laps, watching the Prelude to the Dream at Tony Stewart's Eldora Speedway, you had world-class racers, Juan Pablo Montoya, Elliott Sadler, Jeff Gordon, and they all were kind of lost on dirt for the first time.
I tell you, it's just a different breed of racing. I mean, it's like nothing you've ever been accustomed to, especially those guys. You know, I couldn't imagine going an F1 car to one of these cars that rears up, hikes up, left front's in the air, you know. It feels like it's going to flip over, so.
Checkered flag for Kenny Schrader. 10-lap feature, or excuse me, 10-lap heat race is complete. And as Clint said, Kenny Schrader is a Missouri guy, a Midwestern native, and has a lot of experience racing on dirt. J.J. Yaley on the hook as we take a look at Heat 1. Casey Mears rebounds Clint from his early spin.
Yeah, that was a good comeback for him. Looks like he got the handle of it. His car would look really tied up off the corners. It was really, you know, kind of like a pogo stick. It wasn't pivoting very good. It was bouncing the front end off the ground.
Kenny Schrader takes the checkered flag as the sun sets here in Macon, Illinois. Stay with us for more heat racing on the Night of the Stars.
Next Sunday, in a place as big as Indy.
Look at these special moments.
You need one huge adrenaline rush.
The Brickyard is huge.
NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Live from Indianapolis next Sunday, 10 Eastern. NASCAR on speed. It's huge.
Hey, you want to take a little ride?
Think you can run wide open with Kyle Petty?
You may want to hang on a little tighter than that.
Fathead is so real, it'll suck the air right out of your room.
Did you call me a fathead?
With the passion and attitude, Fathead are classic collectibles for only the serious racing fan. With Fathead, it's easy to put up and move around all season long.
Rip it and stick it.
Too big and real to be in stores means there's only one place to get them, fathead.com. Fathead are officially licensed by NASCAR, the NBA, the NFL, and Players Inc.
Just go to fathead.com.
Printed on strong, durable vinyl, Fathead hold up longer than 4 fresh tires on a straight track.
What makes a fathead cool? The size, the motion, the graphics, everything about a fathead is cool. Just go to fathead.com. What are you looking at? Hey, I'm a fathead.
Payback takes on a whole new meaning on speed.
It's a great opportunity.
Celebrity Big Shot. Give back.
They're never going to in a million years guess it.
With tricked out, one-of-a-kind ride.
He over was there, so now I want to pay him back.
Monday.
When I was approached about payback, I instantly thought of one person.
NFL star Edgerrin James puts family first.
I think the perfect car would be a Cadillac Escalade. That's a happy crash.
Payback. Monday night, 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific, only on Speed.
A warm summer evening in Macon, Illinois. Had a threat of showers, but those have bypassed us. Back at the Macon Speedway, Steve Burns and Clint Boyer. It's time for heat number 2. And Clint, we've talked about this racetrack. Let's talk about, as we look at the drivers in heat 2, the differences in these race cars.
Well, there's a lot of different chassis companies across the country now, but basically they're all the same in the fact that they all have an OEM stock type front clip on them, which is basically like a Chevelle 70 to 72, you know, Chevelle front clip. From there, they're fabricated from the front back. So all of them are, you know, pretty much 4-link suspension these days. So they're really radical on the chassis, the setup wise. That's why you see them hike up so much. A lot of horsepower, little tire, a lot of throttle control.
So a lot different than your Jack Daniels Chevrolet.
Yes, absolutely. Tires are really small, 8-inch wide tires, and very hard.
All right, green flag. You see David Rudiman on 0-0. Jason Leffler jumps out to the lead, in trouble already on lap 1.
Looks like Stephen Wallace just kind of got in a little bit too hot there. They were checking up, and just like I say, keeping these things sideways so you can get them pointed up off is really hard to do. You really got to sling it in there, and when somebody checks up in front of you, you don't have any more insurance. Away it goes.
Caution displayed on lap 1 for Stephen Wallace. And understanding that that lap will not count, so we'll restart this heat race.
Again, as you can hear him, you know, jockeying around on the throttle, using a throttle and brake out there by himself, you could really hear his motor right there. And takes a tremendous amount of throttle control to get these things, you know, pointed in the right direction and backed in the corner right.
Clint, you've talked about track conditions a lot. With the sun going down, does that affect the track surface at all?
Yeah, as they, you know, wear the track down, as there's more and more cars on it, it'll dry out. But, you know, the sun going down, a lot of times you'll see the moisture come back up.
David Rudiman, that's a battle for second. Mike Wallace on two wheels.
Leaning on him a little bit there.
Yes,
the
sir.
leader having a little bit of trouble, but, you know, again, as these guys, they're not used to these cars, so as they get used to them, they're going to get smoothing back out and the racing will get a little better.
Leffler sideways, a little crossover move.
Coming through, I guess.
David Rudiman in the 00. His father is Buzzy Rudiman, a short track legend. Aaron Pierce in the 26th contact with Kyle Busch.
As you can see, it's just, you know, the tendencies are to overdrive the cars. Oh, there's the leader, a little change for the lead there, but Mike Wallace has really got his Geico Chevrolet running good.
Look how high he's running, Clint.
Yeah, it's and that's kind of the typical line, you know, the preferred line around here. But see, he got checked up there, got tight and had to lift. But Jason left. Oh, got in too hard again. It's just really easy to overdrive these cars, as you can see out here.
Pierce down on the apron. Running that high side, Clint, is it a matter of keeping momentum?
You keep the momentum up there, but see, the track is still kind of slimy. It looks like it's really heavy up there and tacky, and they're just getting a little too much bite. That right rear bites in and turns the right front into the wall. So he had to check up, get out of the gas, and wait for it to get pointed.
Not a lot of time to make up ground here. It's just a 10-lap feature. Excuse me, heat race.
Yeah, and as you can see, sliding in the corners, it's starting to get a little bit slick getting in, a little bit blue in color. You know, that's slick. You're going through that, it's sliding sideways, and then all of a sudden it's a timing thing. As you hit that traction, you got to be on the throttle, and if you're a split second too late, you'll lose the front end. The front end will wash up and start heading to the wall, as you can see a lot of them doing.
Hey, Clint, you brought up a good point. These guys are steering as much with the throttle and the brake as they are with the steering wheel.
Oh, every bit as much.
Checkered flag unfurled for Jason Leffler. So Leffler wins the second heat race.
I think he just got the clean air the fastest. He got out there and had an open track. You know, those other cars, they were getting in the corner and had the cars to bounce off of and things like that. Jason did a good job there.
There was a lot of bouncing off things in this heat race. So it's Jason Leffler followed by Mike Wallace, Rudiman, Stephen Wallace, Kyle Busch, Stephen Light, and Aaron Pierce. Crowd likes the show they're putting on here, Clint.
Oh, absolutely. How about that? There's nothing like a little victory lap there with a checkered flag, even if it is a heat race.
Hey, checkered flag is a checkered flag.
That's right. A lot of people in a grandstand. It's good to see that at a good short track.
Coming up, the grand finale from Macon, Illinois, in the night of NASCAR stars.
Skinner trampled the field in Kentucky. Who's your horse at Indy?
Green light at the start-finish line.
Beasts will roar and pulses will pow.
It's time to go.
The Power Stroke Diesel 200 next Friday night, 7:30 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. It's huge.
Our computer is all business. We shoot these videos for clients. Search the internet for cool designs. Organize a ton of paperwork. And my sons, they've downloaded like 1 million songs. We've got every crazy idea we've ever thought of. And some have turned into really great rides.
HP XW8400 workstation with quad-core Intel Xeon processor.
Attention drivers statewide. If you are insured with Allstate, Geico, State Farm, or any other car insurer, you may be overpaying by hundreds of dollars. Find out how to get immediate savings through AIG Auto Insurance. What would it take to get you to switch your car insurance? If we told you that you could save $350 a year, wouldn't you pick up the phone? Start dialing, because you could save that much. People who switched from Geico saved around $359. From Allstate, $416. Your savings could be higher, like this driver who switched, or this one. And no other company gives you AIG Security Advantage that helps keep you safe on the road and away from home. Immediate savings available through AIG Auto Insurance. Call for a free rate quote today. Call 1-888-AIG-6848 for a free rate quote. You could save hundreds of dollars. That number again is 1-888-AIG-6848. Call now or visit AIGauto.com.
Back at Macon, Illinois, the Macon Speedway, the night of NASCAR stars, Clint Boyer and Steve Burns. It is time for the main event, tonight's feature.
And I tell you, they really have done a good job cleaning up that racetrack. It really looks good. You see all them people and the fans having fun. That's what short track racing is all about right there.
Kenny Wallace, Kenny Schrader, and Tony Stewart, part of the ownership group at this speedway, trying to revive this track. It's been around since 1946.
I tell you what, watching them cars go out there waving to the crowd makes me want to be out there in that field.
Do you ever do any short track racing?
Every chance I get.
There's Kenny Wallace in the 36, David Rudiman in the 00, Schrader in the 9. 25-lap feature. What's the mental approach to a 25-lap race as we take a look at the starting lineup?
That looks to me like staying out of the wall or staying out of one of them other cars right now. But, you know, you got some experience out there. Ken Schrader, Kenny Wallace have both been around this track a lot. Good dirt track drivers. A lot of these guys never been to it before, so if they can pick one of them boys off, they've really done a good job.
You know, Clint, watching this, I'm reminded of a comment Jeff Green said. He said, we're well compensated for what we do at the Nextel Cup level, but the dirty little secret is we do it for free.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly right. That's what this night's all about, having fun.
Green flag.
3 wide already. That's good short track racing.
And keep in mind, the heat race is just 7 drivers apiece. Now we have a full field of 14 contacts.
Oh, whoops, coming through.
Lots of contact.
We have had the big one on a 5th-mile racetrack.
And no restrictor plates here. Marcus Ambrose in the 37. You see Casey Mears in the 25.
Yeah, the 38 of Jason Leslie just got in there too hard and got in the back of him, spun him around, and literally there's just no place to go. When the car turns sideways here, you're at a racetrack. There's no more racetrack, so just nowhere to go, and collected a lot of cars.
Ray Evernham involved in that. You see his 19 underway. Stephen Light also involved.
It's like the repairs are already underway. I think all of that, that's the good thing about this little racetrack, is you're really not going all that fast, so when you do hit, it's usually not too bad. As I say that, the 36 of Kenny Wallace
the right
looks
side
total.
is destroyed. Let's take a look at what happened. That's Mike Wallace up high, the 38.
Yeah, it just took off pushing on him, and you saw his wheels turn. He was trying to stay off of him, but, you know, as you saw the car jump, he did get on the gas, but with these cars and the 4-link suspension the way they are, you really have to get them up on the 4-link suspension bars to get them to turn. That's what helps them rotate. So he wasn't like he was doing that on purpose. He was just trying to get his car to rotate, and unfortunately got in the back of him and turned him in front of the field.
Busch Series regular Marcus Ambrose gets tagged several times. Under caution here at Macon. We'll be right back here on Speed.
I would definitely say that I'm looking for a deep relationship with somebody that can have a great time with me. I love a guy that can make me laugh. I'm a big giggler. Well, my sister went on eHarmony, and she met a wonderful man named Eddie. My sister obviously had good luck on eHarmony, so she suggested I give it a try. So I am, and I'm actually looking for my Ed.
Find everything you're looking for at eHarmony.com. Log on today.
I feel like we're infiltrating a ninja camp. The history just really weighs you down when you walk in here. I think I'm learning things that I'll be able to put into use.
I think I'm ready.
Human Weapon. Fridays. Only on the History Channel. What they don't know could kill them.
Ride shotgun with your favorite drivers with NASCAR Hot Pass.
The inside, behind-the-scenes opportunity week in and week out.
Race to race, watch 5 dedicated driver channels. Cameras from every angle. Live team audio between crew chief and driver.
Yeah, just go up another half.
You just can't get this coverage anywhere else.
This is the next generation of getting closer to the action.
Order now and save $40 off the regular season price. NASCAR Hot Pass, exclusively on DirecTV.
NASCAR Hot Pass, best seat in the house.
Back at the night of NASCAR stars in Macon, Illinois. Everyone back underway, Clint Boyer, so damage not too bad.
We got them all beat back out. That's a good thing about short track race. Just beat it out, get going.
Hey, there's no wind tunnels here.
No wind tunnels.
No wind tunnels. Just let the rough side drag.
That's right. It's like, I guess there's no laps completed, so we're going to start over. Complete restart.
25 laps, green flag. Marcus Ambrose in the 37 up front. See Kenny Schrader in the 9.
Whoa!
Oh, Mike Wallace hits the wall.
He got in pretty hard, and he was going for it. He was going to pass them all right there, but Marcus Ambrose, his body's a little worse for the wear.
Yeah, sheet metal flapping, but let's go. Let's let her rip.
That's right. That's what it's all about. Looks like, you know, I'm watching Schrader there. Oh, caution's out, but he's running the bottom and kind of staying out of trouble.
Ray Evernham in the 19 spins again.
Runs over a tire.
Hey, before the race, earlier today, we talked to some of the drivers about what they've learned about short track racing. Let's hear what they had to say.
Well, one thing is just that I've learned mostly on the short tracks is being patient. If you take yourself out or you take somebody else out, you know, you've got to finish to win, and patience is part of that.
It teaches you patience. It teaches you to move around. It teaches you to be very smart about racing. I think a lot of situations it teaches you give and take, or maybe, you know, not try to do certain things whenever you shouldn't.
Clint Boyer, I would argue that patience and race car drivers should not be in the same sentence.
Yeah, it's pretty odd. They're saying that on a 5th-mile track. 25-lap feature, you got to go for broke. You know, unfortunately, I guess I didn't learn those values on a short track. It took me to get into these 500-mile races that we're running now before I learned patience.
All right, Kenny Wallace is your leader, followed by Marcus Ambrose, Kenny Schrader, Jason Leffler, Mike Wallace, David Rudiman. You see the starter giving 1 lap to go, and Clint a little bit further down through the field, Casey Mears, J.J. Yaley, Stephen Wallace, all the way back to Ray Evernham.
Yeah, and, you know, Casey Mears, J.J. Yaley, Casey Mears has been in, you know, off-road trucks. Yaley's had a lot of dirt experience, so it'll be interesting to see him coming up through the field.
Kyle Busch will restart 10th out of the 14, and green flag. Kenny Wallace makes a break.
He really, you know, turned down, got the car pointed, the car's got a lot of forward bite, as you can see, almost picking the front tires off the ground. So you got to get it rotated. You got to get the drive up off the corner.
Saw Kenny Schrader up high in that red number 9. Ambrose in the 37, Jason Leffler on the bottom. And Mike Wallace seems to hit the wall again, Clint.
He definitely knows where it's at, that's for sure. Looks like, you know, Leffler, a lot of dirt experience there. He's getting up, using the cushion, getting a good drive up off. But Schrader, you know, you just keep an eye on him. He always seems to just finesse it, and he's never really out of control, and he really gets the car rotated. Oh!
Speaking of...
Oh, I think I got back going.
Speaking of rotating.
Stephen Light looked like he was sideways down there. Yellow's out.
Caution out again. That is Stephen Light in the 0-1.
Get him rocked out of gear there and get back going. Again, these transmissions in these cars are very funny. What you saw him doing right there was just stuck in high gear. You have to go, it's a 2-speed, you know, transmission. When you take off in these cars, you put it in low, you push the clutch down, and it takes off. And I said down when it takes off. So you hold the clutch down, and then as soon as you get it up to speed, RPM's good, you pop it into high gear, let out on the clutch, and you're in direct drive. But let me tell you something, that's very hard to figure out.
Kenny Wallace has the lead early on. We're under caution again. Wallace followed by Marcus Ambrose, Jason Leffler, Kenny Schrader, and David Rudiman back for more Night of the NASCAR Stars in Macon. Welcome back, Steve Burns and Clint Boyer, driver of the 07 Jack Daniels Chevrolet out of Richard Childress Racing. Going back to Clint's roots, a lot of NASCAR stars here. Short track racing on a 5th-mile dirt track.
Looks like they put Stephen Light to the back there, getting lined up, ready to go. I tell you, this is exciting. This is what it's all about, little bull rings just like this.
Make you homesick, Clint?
Absolutely.
Green flag, Kenny Wallace, the leader. working lap number 5 of 25. Ambrose in the 37, Leffler in the 38. That's a battle for second.
Oh, got a left rear down on J.J. Yaley's car. I bet you probably had a frame bumper getting pushed into that one. Probably had a little help with that flat, but there's a lot of help being out there.
A lot of contact, a lot of spins. J.J. Yaley off the racetrack. You see Evernham in the 19. That was a battle for 10th. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace in his St. Louis Cardinals car, number 36. And Kenny Schrader on the move in the 9.
Yep, I tell you, you see a lot of tore up sheet metal, but I tell you, it's just this little bull ring, you know, there's just no room. When they get it crossed up in front of you, you have no way out but to get into them.
Clint, is contact part of the game here?
Well, you definitely, you don't do it on purpose. You just can't help it to do it. There's just literally no room. And, you know, as you see the track starting to slick off getting in, you know, it's really starting to, the outside line as you see Schrader's moving up. You can find different places to run, but you really have to be careful. As you're watching him run up there, see, he got back down to the bottom. It's just, there's such a big cushion built up coming off the corners that your car wants to turn you right into the wall.
Saw Schrader on the high side. Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace finessing it on the bottom. Leader in traffic.
Didn't take him long to catch traffic, guys. Just a little bitty racetrack, but as you can see, everybody's kind of smoothing it out, getting into a rhythm, and that's a big part of this racing. Getting into a rhythm, getting to where you're comfortable. Mike Wallace up there, he hadn't given up on that top, that's for sure.
No.
High, wide, and handsome.
High, wide, and handsome. You talked about him running the cushion. Explain that if you would, Clint.
Well, as you can see, it's slick, and then got a little bit of trouble here, but it builds a big cushion up there, and what that is just a big pile of mud. You know, that dirt has to go somewhere, and it gets pushed up there against the wall, and you can see it up there where it's slick and shiny, and then it gets heavy up there. That's a lot of bite, a lot of traction, and if you get into it too hard, the right rear bites in, and you lose the front end. So you really got to have the car underneath of you and on the throttle when you're in it.
It's been an adventure for team owner Ray Evernham. Back to Ray, you see that he spins that number 19 around. Ray drove modifieds in the Northeast, primarily on asphalt.
Yeah, I think they were a little bit lower to the ground and didn't quite handle probably as bad as these things did.
No, I don't think so. And tonight's action reminiscent of a similar event a few years ago.
We did a deal like this with Schrader about 3 or 4 years ago. Bill Elliott and Ray and myself went to Farley, Iowa, and Bill and I ran late models, and Ray ran dirt modified like he's going to like he's going to tonight. I haven't run dirt a half a dozen times in my whole life. It was like 12 cautions in the feature, had a lot of cautions. And there was 5 or 6 cautions. He did not cause all of them. He only caused about 9 of them. But I was in every one of them. So on the way back to the airport, I said, "Do you believe I haven't driven in 11 years? And we're like, "Nah, you're kidding us." Wow. So he always, he tells that story and gives me a hard time about everywhere we go now.
Clint, somebody's math is off. There's a discrepancy with the number of cautions.
That's funny, I tell you. It's so easy to do that. And, you know, Ray, in his defense, he hasn't driven these cars. They drive so unique and different than anything he's ever been in.
Kenny Wallace has his beloved St. Louis Cardinals car out in front. Jason Leffler, the 38, more contact.
That poor 37 car, they're going to have to rebuild that one when they're done with this race. Looks like Rudiman's working his way back up there. And, you know, that Pierce kid, he's been running good.
Doing a good job. Yeah. Number 26.
Yeah, I tell you, Kyle Busch, he's been, you know, the biggest shocker to me. He's raced these cars. I really thought that, you know, he'd be marching his way up there, but obviously the handling just isn't quite what he likes. So, you know, we'll see better days.
There's Pierce in that 26. Kenny Wallace, a lot of damage to the right side, but none the worse for wear. He's still got it out in front ahead of Kenny Schrader.
He really does. And what you see there, as I'm watching that, he's just got a lot of forward bite up off the corner. And a little short track like this with tight corners, as it's slicking off especially getting in, you can see the outside line's just too far out there. They're getting a hold of something. There's a little bit of traction up off the corners. You see right there, he's getting a good bite and just pulling away right there, just ever so slightly. And that's all the difference in the world.
There's left in the 38. He pounced the ball again.
Whole car came off the ground.
Clint, I would think it would be a little little frustrating. You've got all this horsepower and you're using a fraction of it.
Oh, absolutely. It's very frustrating, and you have to, that's where the finesse comes in. You have to, you know, they're very over horsepowered, got a little tire, got a little bit of help there.
Marcus Ambrose and Kyle Busch. And we're under caution again. Kenny Wallace and Ken Schrader, your leaders here in Macon, Illinois. Macon, Illinois, the Macon Speedway. You see the night of NASCAR stars. Clint, we're getting ready. Laps winding down.
Yeah, slowly but surely, but you know, that last session there went quite a while.
Nice stretch of green flag racing. Kenny Wallace out in front.
See Schrader keep getting up there up high. He's trying to make it work, and you can see he gets a bite off, but just not quite enough. There's just a little bit too much traction up off the corner down on the bottom, and as you can see Kenny Wallace getting such a run. The poor Aussie, boy, they're beating on him now.
That's Ambrose in the 37. You saw Ray Evernham in the 19. Aaron Pierce into the back of David Ruderman. Caution is out again, Clint.
What do we got here?
Not sure what this caution is for, and
we got debris on the speedway.
Debris it is. Hey, I've seen that in Nextel Cup racing a time or two.
Yeah, I guess they got too sprung out.
No, there is actual debris.
We don't have just debris. We have the whole front bumper on the track.
Contact here, which we've been seeing all night.
I think it's the rear bumper, actually.
Yep.
We didn't have a spring rubber on the track.
No,
we had the whole bumper on the track.
Marcus Ambrose in the 37. Oh! Ray into the wall. Ray Evernham in the 19.
You see it spit the rear bumper right out from underneath of it. I think poor Ray's just giving up. I don't know if he gave up or his car gave up. Man, that thing's used up. He can't complain about his drivers because he got it all out of that one.
All right, we're going to restart. Laps winding down in this 25-lap feature race, the night of NASCAR stars.
Hey, Kenny Wallace, he's just really impressed me. He's running a really smooth line. His car's working good for him. He's got good forward bite, and, you know, clearly the class is filled. Schrader's trying, but I don't think he's got anything for him.
Under 5 laps to go, and Clint, I would imagine you can't be patient now.
No, you got to go for it. And as you can see, everybody, you know, behind them, back there in the tornado or in the hurricane, whatever you want to call it. It is the eye of the storm back there. They are going for it, and you know, going for broke. But
Stephen Wallace in the 10 brings out caution. Take a replay, see what happened.
A little more contact. I'm telling you that Marcus Ambrose's car is bulletproof. It's the Cadillac of all of them out there. They bounce off everything, and it just keeps on going. Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
I think the 37 of Marcus Ambrose got into the back of the 10 of young Stephen Wallace, the son of Rusty Wallace.
More cars parked in the infield now than on the racetrack.
Lap 22, restart, back underway, just 3 laps remaining.
It pretty much got all the track has to offer. You can see it flicking off. They're all down on the bottom trying to get a hold of a little bit of traction. Got another spin. Kyle Busch looks like he looped it in front of him.
Casey Mears goes around.
Getting really slick. As you can see, track's getting shiny, and anytime it's shiny like that, there ain't much out there anymore.
Take a look at what happened.
Oh, got a little help.
Got a lot of help. That was Marcus Ambrose, the Cadillac.
That thing's bulletproof now. Oh.
Closing laps here on the NASCAR Night of Stars in Macon, Illinois. Casey Mears in the 25 as they line up to contest the final lap. You see Mike Wallace on the outside in the 7, and we're underway.
All hunting for that bottom.
Kenny Schrader in the 9. That's Leffler in the 38. That's a battle for position. That was a battle for second, but Leffler goes around. Final lap, Clint.
Yeah, he just drove down in the infield, and unfortunately, you know, he wasn't out on the track to draw caution, so he's out of the race.
Kenny Wallace is going to win it, followed by Ken Schrader. So two of the owners of this racetrack, little home cooking maybe, or track knowledge.
Oh, we're still not done wrecking.
Oh, Marcus Ambrose. An excellent adventure for Ambrose in the 37.
Yeah, clearly, you know, Kenny was a class of field tonight. He had a really good car, and he's been driving good. You know, he hit his marks, was smooth out there in the racetrack, and did a good job.
Big crowd on hand here in Macon, Illinois. They love the action they just saw.
And they did see some action. You know, there was a lot of good racing out there, a lot of close racing, a lot of contact, so about everything you want to see at a good short track.
Yeah, we like that beating and banging. Kenny Wallace takes the checkered flag, and he'll do a victory lap for the fans. We'll be back to wrap things up here in Macon, Illinois on the NASCAR Night of Stars. Kenny Wallace takes the checkered flag, followed by Kenny Schrader and Marcus Ambrose.
Abadart.
Fireworks in the summer sky, and Clint Boyer, we saw plenty of fireworks on the racetrack. Kenny Wallace, though, looks really smooth and takes the checkered flag.
Absolutely did a good job. You know, Ken Schrader gave him a good, hard, you know, effort right there, but Marcus Ambrose, how about that third? That thing's a tank. It bounced off the wall, cars, everything else out there, and he come home third, so good job for him.
Rough night for Ray Evernham, but I'm sure he'd tell you that he had a blast here on this 5th-mile racetrack. Fans love the action they saw, Clint.
Absolutely. Some happy boys right there.
Hard to put on a bad show here.
Man, I tell you, they did a good job, you know. The Herminator, oh Herm.
No backflip for Kenny Wallace, but he enjoys the checkered flag nonetheless. Let's talk to the shy one about his most recent victory.
We're having a blast. You know, I mean, that's what it was all about for everybody throughout the United States, all the fans here at Macon. See, we had a packed house, and that's short track racing at its best. And I learned to roll the bottom on these old little short tracks. You know, you want to go up high right away, but sometimes there's just nothing up there. Tonight is all about Speed TV. All the fans, you know, we're just wanting to make, you know, we're wanting to make friends with everybody throughout the United States and let everybody know Tony Stewart at Eldora, Kenny Schrader at I-55, all of us right here at Macon, Dave Blaney, Sharon, Pennsylvania, Paducah with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dirt racing is back in popular demand, so go to your local short track and support dirt racing.
We'll do it, Kenny Wallace. Clint, do you own a track?
Not
It seems to be
yet.
a trend.
I'd like to someday, but I kind of enjoy just watching.
Kenny Schrader, Kenny Wallace's partner, finished second. Let's hear what he has to say.
I didn't see any patience. No, I didn't see any patience. Saw a lot of cars on top of one. It looked more like a monster truck deal than a modified race. Hate to tore up that much stuff, but we got messed up right the first lap there when we got inside of Kenny. I guess Marcus spun out and we all piled in there, and not much you could do there, but Kenny was real good. We weren't as good, and tried to go up top, and there was nothing up there, so just wound up second, first loser, and I think everybody had a good time.
Drivers had a good time. The fans had a great time. They're heading to the exits. We talked to J.J. Yaley, Nextel Cup driver, to ask him what the biggest surprise of the night was. Yeah.
That Herman won his own race. It's cheating. It's total flat-out cheating. I'm going to hold... we got it figured out earlier. I was talking with Schrader. Yeah, you know, they rearranged all the heat races so they could start up front instead of the back. It's generally the fastest car starting the back. So I told Schrader earlier, I'm going to host an event like this, and we'll do something for Cherry, but we'll do it midgets or sprint cars. We'll do it something, you know, something a little bit more my line. And I'm going to get him a car. I'm going to get cars Schrader like he won a championship in, you know, 1972 or something, and see how he likes it. But it was a lot of fun. I'm sure the fans got a kick out of it because from the infield it was pretty wild.
Well, Clint Boyer, what I've learned tonight is that, you know, all those guys want to win the Daytona 500, the Brickyard 400, but tonight it was about the love of the game.
Oh, absolutely, and fans, you know, and bringing back short track racing.
I think it's important for the Nextel Cup drivers, the stars of our motorsports, to come here, give back to the fans, give them something to shout about, because they don't always get to see these guys race, so very important.
Well, there was a lot of contact, a lot of beating and banging, but Clint, you said it, the fans had a great time. Kenny Wallace wins here in Macon, Illinois, a track that he co-owns. For Clint Boyer and Kenny Wallace, thanks for being with us here on Speed.